Not half. Tell you what, it's Friday. Somehow, miraculously, we've made it through an entire week. Just about. I don't even know where to start with today. I genuinely don't. Hello, I'm Russ Kate. This is Men's Radio Station. This is The Daily Show. Umpteen guests, umpteen co-hosts, none of whom I've seen. Where might they be? Any idea? Answers on a postcard to the infradraw method, Horace Batchelor, Keynsham. That's K-E. What? Anyone remember that? Come on, who remembers that? Now, I'm so hacked off at the moment. I'm absolutely. I'm sharing this with you. First of all, Neil, I sent you the link. I've sent him the link. I don't know how many times. I can't send him the link anymore. Unbelievable. Now then, I can't help. Now, here's the thing. I sent it by email as well. Here's the thing. Tower Bridge, up the road from me, closed. Now, if you're watching in Spain and America and New York, you couldn't give a monkeys. I get it. Tower Bridge, the most beautiful bridge in the world, and one of the busiest bridges in London, closed. Why is it closed? I'll tell you why it's closed. Extinction Rebellion have decided to unfurl banners and then abseil down. And they bring London to a halt. Why? And then, of course, they send the police boats along. Then they send the lifeboats along. What's all that about? Why? Don't bother. Just... Man, they just don't care, do they? Hey, but park on a double yellow line. Stray into a bus lane for 10 feet. They'll never be off your back. Climb all over one of the biggest bridges, bring London to a halt. Well, we don't really want to get involved. Talking of not getting involved, I know. And this is Azadon Brown who's saying this from New York City. Madness. What do we got here from Ramsey? Hi, everybody. Oh, don't you start. Imagine living in Hammersmith with a bridge been closed for years. Yeah, because they didn't build it properly and they never fixed it properly. I'm not going to read this out. You can read it yourselves if you're listening on Deluxe Radio. I dare not. But Kimmy, you are so right. Sue Sleet. Good afternoon, Russ. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Had the great pleasure of spending an hour with the wonderful Dave Sleet yesterday, who looked remarkably well, I have to say. Looked remarkably well. Kimmy Lashmar, hello, everybody. And, of course, from Azadon Brown, good day from New York. Happy Friday, says Paul Andrews and Veronica Curran up in Edinburgh. Hey, afternoon, Russ. I think we caught up with everybody now. Oh, no, we haven't. It's Emma Webb, little M. Emma Webb, good afternoon. Hi to you, Em. Now, there we are. I've got to get hold of Neil somehow. How do I get hold of Neil? I don't know. I can't do it because I'm in the middle of a show. He should have contacted me earlier. Now, don't understand why. Here's the thing. How many of you watched on Netflix over the last couple of days the Jimmy Savile documentary? How many of you? If you're American, hi, Robert Van Buren. Hi to you. Waiting for Neil to turn up. I was sending the links by email and WhatsApp, but he obviously hasn't seen it. How's Phil Dave getting on? Phil who? Phil? No idea. Don't know who he is. They could open the bridge, and all the professors like, no. The problem is, Ramsey, that these tossers have literally abseiled down the side of the bridge, and not on. Oh, there's some people who are on the bridge. They should just lift it up. Of course, no shipping can go up and down. No shipping. Presumably they hate shipping as well. They hate everything. They hate bloody everything, don't they? Definitely not. What's definitely not what? Oh, she won't watch the Savile thing. No, I get it. And then Paul Andrews said, yeah, watch the Savile thing. And what have we got here? We got Kimmy. I have no interest in Savile, but saw the, I don't know. Sorry. I have no idea who Nikki Graham is. I'm so sorry. No idea. Right, hang on. I'm getting important messages in. Oh, dear God. Talk about a one-man bloody army. Yeah, I'm going to put yes. Sent you a link yesterday. Good Lord. Johnny Seven, One Man Army. Now, Jimmy Savile thing. I watched both parts last night. I cried. In one part, I actually could feel tears in my eyes. It was when the woman was talking about what happened to her in the church. She's a little girl. Even I, and as close as we are as an audience all over the world, I'm not going to go into details. It was stomach churning, absolutely stomach churning. And this awfulness of helplessness that all the women, all the little girls who then became young girls and then adolescents and then women, all thought it was just them, and all thought they could just, they blamed themselves. They blamed themselves. Just appalling. I was very lucky. I did a long post on Facebook this morning that I was very lucky. I never met Savile. I had no desire to meet Savile. I always thought he was repulsive. I'm not saying this with hindsight. I never understood his appeal. I found him physically repulsive. I thought his act was repulsive. I thought everything was repulsive about him. I didn't get it. Okay, that's all right. Doesn't matter. Just sickening. Anyway, first guest here. We're going to talk about it in a bit. We're going to talk about what do you got? What do we got? Sense. Afternoon. Just finish. What's that got to do with Jimmy Savile? Nothing. Okay. Right. Here we go. First guest. Tiber, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm fair to middling, I think I would say today.
All right. I walked straight into the Savile, and all of a sudden it's like, I know exactly where you were at in the conversation, and it was
well, yeah. All right. Before we get into you, did you have an opinion on that peroxide bastard or what?
Yeah, I mean,
not that I'm being, in any way biased with my question.
I think it's one of those things that's so painfully obvious now. But I think the whole world gets wrapped up in a whirlwind of someone being like coming across as a martyr and making us all feel so like, oh, wow, he's just doing this amazing job. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at the physicality of the man, I think that you kind of go, how could we have been so blind? But then, I mean, I'm one of these people that, it's, I see the good and bad, and I'm certainly not saying any good in him, absolutely not at all. But the fear is now that if anyone that's helping children that remotely looks like Jimmy Savile is going to now be tarred with the same brush, which obviously is completely unfair. So, there's some good people out there probably are doing some amazing thing with kids, but physically they may not have the look that we would like to be, near children or whatever. So that, the worry is that those people are going to be marred with the same brush as him. But
we live in a different day. Actually, I'm just pausing. Here's a comment that you're going to like. It says, my fellow Croydonian, I love Tiber. I think he's now living down the road in Caterham. Great entertainer. And Sen Munro's terribly upset, but I'll have to live with it, Sen. Blimey, I just logged on to listen in and say hello as I sat on the train. Well, okay. I want to speak to you later because I want to come over to oh God, your neck of the woods, to the kebab place. Right. I live in Caterham, says Kimmy Lashmar. This is all a fascinating.
I don't live in Caterham.
No. Only the Super 7. Only the Super 7 lives in Caterham. Veronica Curran says, would you like someone from the paedophile hunt? No, I absolutely wouldn't. No, Veronica, I wouldn't. I don't like vigilantes. I don't. No, thank you, but no. I'm going to say no to that. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. I don't like self-appointed vigilante groups at all. I think they're very, very dangerous. It sets a terribly dangerous precedent. Although if they did happen to go to Tower Bridge now, c'est la vie, c'est la guerre. Tiber, tell us about yourself, please. Loads to tell.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Where does one start?
Come on, fella.
I'm living over in East Sussex. My brother lives in Caterham. We were two brothers who used to busk in and around the southeast of England, predominantly in Croydon, because that's where we were both born and bred from May.
Tiber, I'm going to have to interrupt you. Breaking news. the great fool has a. Here he is.
Tiber Cranston, I know you.
Oh, God.
Who's
Yeah,
this?
thanks for rocking up. I send you all the stuff.
Neil
I'll send you
Long.
Neil Long, the
Oh, you know
living
he's
leg,
doing.
the living leg end.
Jack,
Love
was it
Neil.
Radio Jackie?
No, it was Radio Luxembourg. It was 1964. Neil was the
frozen.
first 3-year-old DJ. It's a
But
fact.
I know you. Were you not on Radio Jackie at all?
I've got this right. This is Tiber from the Duelers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I know
How
you.
you doing?
I'm really, really good. We A-listed their record, Don't Go, on Radio
That's right.
Jackie. It's the most delicious blend of ska and lovers rock. It's genius. I
And
love
what
it.
rock?
Thank you.
And what rock?
Lovers rock.
What's
Soft
lovers
reggae.
rock? What's lovers rock then?
Songs like Silly Games, Janet Kay, kind of lovers reggae.
It was very much
No,
English
lost
kind
me.
of reggae.
Don't know. Don't like reggae. I'll be honest. I'm the only. I'm not a Bob
You'd
Marley
like
fan
this.
either. I don't
Trust
even like
me,
Bob
you'd
Marley.
like this.
Never did.
Hello again, Tiber. How are you?
Hey,
And hello,
All right,
Russ.
Neil. How are you?
Good.
Neil, I couldn't. I've got to tell you, I couldn't send you the link again because I can't do it in the middle of the show because I have to stop the show and then log. Oh, pain in the ass. Duelers, yay! Love seeing them in Bromley. Got his CD. There you are. You are a massively popular. Now, tell us your story. It's your backstory we're interested in. We're not here to plug the music.
Yeah, well, I just started busking with my brother on the high streets. We're originally from Croydon, moved to Canterbury, very pro busking town. And then sort of ventured out over the southeast of England. And for the next sort of 10 years after that, my brother and I just sort of bust and managed to get a couple of songs into the chart. One of them was called Don't Go, as Neil's just said. The other one's called Kiss on the Lips. There was another song called Truly Madly Deeply. And then my brother left the band about 10 years ago. And since then, I've been sort of like, taking the...
So you literally just started busking.
Mm.
No,
but yeah,
before
I do.
Everybody around the world is going, wait a minute, Russ, hang on a minute. You don't do music, unless it's going to be Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. You couldn't care. So why is this chap on? And you're getting great responses from Ian Foreman. Morning, Ty. Glad to see you. Glad you and Cyber performing again together again with 2 kisses.
Oh yeah,
Your
really well
your PR lady reached out. She wrote me a whole long Magilla about you, and I went back. I said, no, we don't do music, but thanks very much. And then she kept at me, and when I read the backstory, music's for another time, well, another channel actually, it's not for us. But your backstory is so interesting, where you went and where you've got to.
Yeah,
that's inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so lovely is that we live in a time now where you can just have artists and audience. You don't have to have promoter, manager, record company, and all that. So we're kind of sort of one of the forefront of that, and it's just kind of how it's worked for us. When you're standing on a high street, it really is. There's no one else but the audience and yourselves, and we just built it up.
I've never seen such a wonderful response from all the listeners all over the world, and this is Sue Sleet, who's up in Fife. I love listening to the Duelers when they were in Bromley and Canterbury, listening to their CDs now. Blimey O'Reilly, well done.
I could sing the song now from memory. I remember it so well.
Go on then, it's Friday. Go on.
You've been looking in the wrong direction, but your praying hasn't been in vain. Can't you see that the answer to your question? You do it a lot better than I do, but see
no. I think you've got it better.
I'll be honest with you, Neil. I don't know. You probably would do better than me. I've not long got up. I had a bit of a lay-in this morning.
It's a wonderful song. As
on the list. You're one popular punter. Ian Foreman. Neil listening to Palm Trees and 80 Degrees, a great album.
Oh, yeah, that's the last album. We're just working on our new album. It's called Voices from the Sun. It comes out in August.
At the moment.
We're just
finishing. And Ian Foreman will have you on his show on a different radio station, and you can chat about the music. But you went from nowhere to Wembley.
Yeah.
How? That's what fascinates
I think the long and short of it is it's just the public. It's just word of mouth. I think someone said to me, when did it really explode for you? Well, it really got big, obviously, because we got well known in the South, but you can only travel, and you're traveling back home. You're only really going to cover the South of England. And I think what really happened, what really worked for us was the North discovered us. As soon as the North discovered us, then all of a sudden we went to a different level. So we had people
Very
travelling to the
interesting.
gigs down south, from up north, people from Newcastle and Scotland and the likes. And then now we're starting to do gigs in those areas and selling them out as well. So it's just been word
So
of
it's
mouth.
really word of mouth. It's grassroots support.
Absolutely. I didn't
See,
mean
it
to be that way.
it can be done, but it's a
100%.
hard slog.
Yeah.
I love this from Ramsey. Everybody knows you guys, and I'd be
Yeah.
honest, I'd never heard of you. I'd be
I
completely
know,
frank.
I-
It was only your
really-
PR lady who kept
really
banging on and said,
charismatic.
"Please, Russ," and I went,
We're
"Oh,
the most famous non-famous band.
well, that's,
No, but
that's
you're both.
good."
I've seen you both perform together, and you're both so charismatic when you do it.
No, a nice one. I appreciate it.
It's real charisma. It's got that. It's just got that natural energy that would draw people. Do you still do the Skadooby
I
night?
mean, look at this, Neil. Look at this.
So-
The shoppers
no,
in
we don't.
Croydon. I'm going to read this out. The shoppers in Croydon loved them. They always performed as if they were on the stage at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
In fact, they were outside W.H. Smith.
I know. No,
Brilliant.
it's true.
It's absolutely brilliant.
I'll tell you
Brilliant.
what is so lovely as well. There's some of those
Love
shops
that.
as well. A lot of them just come out with coffees. At Christmas time, if you're out there, they give me a bottle of wine or champagne or
Lovely.
prosecco or
Blimey.
something. So
I once went to a Shirley Bassey concert, which was fun because I was the only heterosexual male there. It was at Wembley Arena.
yeah,
And I've never seen gifts. And and it was a show and a half, I'll be honest. I think I was with her manager or so. I can't remember. I was dragged along. And huge fun. And then we met Shirley afterwards. Blah, blah, blah. But the gifts that were coming up were incredible.
yeah.
By the end, there was a mound like that monstrosity that they built at Marble Arch and in London. And it was huge, and it was like Chanel bags. And it was unbelievable. And she was so down to it. She just said, "Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going off to get pissed now." I just thought,
Well, I might have to
hilarious.
put on Facebook about like a Christmas wish list, just that I don't get. If I do get gifts, it's things that I want.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. This is
Joking.
nice from Kimmy. Famous, non-famous, lots of love.
Oh,
Super's
Kimmy.
talent. I got you a coffee once, says Kimmy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We were given a lot of love on the high streets. A lot of love.
Because you
What
did go
is
down
it?
really well. Because not all buskers are well received, are they? But
No,
you
No.
because some of them. Forgive me for saying this, Tyler, but some. I was on the tube yesterday, and there's always a busker at Green Park Station where I was heading to, and sometimes they're not bad. One of them was playing Peter Green's "Oh Well," which I was dying to go up and sing, but I can't sing a note. But I think I was the only person in the station who actually knew the lyrics, and he was doing a fair fist of it. And some of them are terrible. I would pay them to stop singing and playing because they can't play properly, and they're official buskers. They're on the proper spot, Bless them. But then every now and then you come past a busker and you think that is just inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can
Yeah.
I ask Tiber a quick question, Russ? Do you mind if I just...
Go ahead, you're co-host.
Are you
you're my
doing
guest
Happy Days
co-host.
Festival again this year? And how did it go when you did it last
Which
year?
one? Sorry.
Happy Days, Invercourt.
Whereabouts is that?
Southwest London. It's the Met Police Sports Ground, and it's in.
Yeah,
it's near
no,
Euston.
I'm pretty certain we're not doing it because I would have jumped out at me. But
You have done it before, though, haven't you?
I think we have done, yeah. I mean, it sounds really ridiculous, but after a while, the festivals, unless something massive happens, like a Portaloo falls over and while someone's in it, or
It could be
a
arranged.
celebrity walks on stage and fall, they tend to. When you look back in memory of it, you kind of go, "There's grass, there's a stage, there's areas, there's people," and you go, "Which festival was that?"
Yeah, take it from me, you were there because I saw your name. I was so pleased to see your name on the bill. I was like,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's what we live for, really. It's like in the winter months, you're playing, obviously, the venues inside, and it's cold and dark when you arrive and cold and dark when you leave. But in the summer months,
it's a metaphor for
a
life.
different level. That's what you kind of go, this is the reason why, one of the massive reasons why you do what you do, because to be playing this sort of genre of music while the sun's shining to that many people.
Oh, yeah.
Is just and obviously coming out of COVID and everything and the lockdown, the dark winter months, it's like we're all looking forward to June, July, August, September when the festivals are, and just being able to go
Now
out.
I know that you've got a new album coming out. I'm going to. Will you send me a copy? I'm also going to.
100%. And to me,
I'm going to have a word with the management.
Brown
of
envelope, brown
Radio
envelope, brown envelope, Neil. Neil,
Is it-
brown envelope.
Pardon?
Brown envelope.
All right. I'm going to have a word with the management and see if we can get Don't Go back on because it was on.
yeah,
before.
well, absolutely.
I'll have a word. I can only ask them, but it's a great song, Russ. You've got to hear it. Man.
Neil
Sure,
will
sure,
be
sure.
enjoying his villa in Corfu when the song gets right. This is from Don Brown, who's watching us from New York State. Tiber,
Hi.
do you have a website? If so, what's the address to your page?
www.thejewelers.com. It's got everything
Spell
on there.
jewelers for us, please.
THE as in the, and then jewelers. D for Derek, U, A for Apple, L for Lima, E for Eric, R for Romeo, S for sugar.com.
Right. Lovely. There we go. Thejewelers.com. Aza. That's from there. And the Neil Long fan club in full swing. Robert Van Buren, who's top Swedish DJ. This is from Ramsey. No, this is from Ramsey. Sue, I'll mention you in a minute. This is from Ramsey. The thing about the Jewelers was that they didn't. Oh, don't get me started. Didn't go down the Simon Cowell route, but their quality shone through. The late Terry Wogan loved them
very much. So.
Yeah,
I would. I had a lot of interactions with the Simon Cowell group when I had the great misfortune. The worst mistake I ever made in my life was getting into the music business as management. And we were offered everything for one of the bands we were managing. And so they said, look, we'll fast track you. It's guaranteed. I mean, what you see on TV is nothing. It's not the reality, as we all know. And then I said, okay, and I discussed it with the band, and they said, oh, what the hell? So I got the contract through from Psycho, which was Simon Cowell's company. All right. And the contract was gigantic and ridiculous. Now, I'm an ex-lawyer, so it wasn't exactly gobbledygook to me. And then I got to the small print, right? Which is always where the devil lies. The devil lies in the detail. And two things about signing with Psycho at the time. Whether it's changed now, I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. But at the time, they owned all your merchandising rights. Now, as Tiber will attest, the only way you make money in music, unless you're Adele or somebody, is through the merchandising at the concerts and stuff like that. Ticket prices, they controlled all of that. Unbelievably so, to an extent that was eye-watering. And then the best bit, and I actually at my desk burst out laughing. And we have the rights for everyone, not just globally. And I thought, oh, okay, globally, all right, we can go with that. In the universe, wait, and the best bit, and this is in the contract, and on planets as of not yet discovered.
Well, you've got to cover all your bases, to be fair.
I mean, I didn't think they were going to be big on Venus, It was like, and I said, I'll forget it. This is
just some of his artists are quite good on Uranus.
I was waiting for that. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Come on, it had to be done. Veronica's saying, Tiber, are you up in Scotland? Any Edinburgh festival?
We've just come back from Scotland. We just played the Stramash in Edinburgh, and we played the O2 Academy in Glasgow. So we were there 2 weeks ago.
Oh, loved it. Now she'll be upset.
Yeah, I know.
She will be upset. I think the thing
is,
loves you.
It's one thing because the people have got us where we've got to in social media, and because we're not on mainstream TV and radio and stuff like that. Unfortunately, not everyone knows where we're going to be because obviously it's not advertised everywhere. So the best thing to do is always check in every couple of weeks or something and see where we are, because gigs can just spring out of nowhere, especially the festivals.
Is it?
What is it that you think? Let's get away from the music for a minute and let's look more from the well-being side of it. Clearly, from this phenomenal reaction, and well done to your PR lady, who just kept at me, and I thought, you know what? She's being so persistent. She's doing such a great job for this guy. I like the backstory. What the hell? Yes, why not? Why not? What is it you think that you have that is connecting? And these comments are showing it. What is connecting with people at such a visceral level?
I think lyrically, we never really get involved in politics. I don't tend to sing about anything that's particularly down and sad. In a country with the weather, if you look at the weather,
you have a word with Adele, please.
Yeah. I think, and the weather in this country is, it's not the sort of, it's not
sucks.
In generally uplifting. So by singing lyrics to music that's upbeat, it's very difficult to A, not move, and B, not smile. So if you're doing all of those things and you're not being cheesy, and I mean, there is a thin line between being happy and being cheesy and being all well rehearsed. So I think there's not a lot of people doing that.
But we
And I
don't want
think
you as the Timmy Mallet of rock, do we?
It's very authentic. It's very. I find
Yeah,
it very,
Thank you. I've been waiting for this word, and I wanted to see who was going to bring it up. It's
Yeah,
the
I think,
authenticity that people. This is what gets me. I think people, a lot of people who produce manufactured garbage think the public are stupid. Some are. All right, you can't fix stupid, but I think the public get and relate to something that feels authentic, that
Sure.
actually comes from the heart.
Yeah.
That actually comes from the heart.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Speaking of coming from the heart, I don't know if we're live from Frankfurt. Live from. She's been in Frankfurt. So I'm going to bring her on early because it's such a treat. Such a treat. There she is.
Hello, I'm not in Frankfurt.
No, I can see, unless you've got a replica of your room and you just travel with you like the Rolling Stones on tour, and you just take your entire room with you everywhere. Welcome.
Well, hello. I've been in Frankfurt helping to set up a K-pop festival, which for those that don't know anything about it, nor did I 6 months ago, K-pop is the most popular music genre in the world, apparently.
Apart from Tiber.
Apart from Tiber's unique blend of ska and lovers rock, yes.
Well, there we are.
According to listeners and viewers, they've gone absolutely potty for it. I'll be honest with you, Tiber. I never fake these things. I'd never heard of the Jewelers. I'd never heard of you. As I said, it was just I loved your backstory. So, and everyone's going, "Oh, we love this guy."
I'm going to send you the
comments
link
like it
later on, Russ.
Send it to me later. Here we go. Coming in from New York State. You see, we're talking about authenticity. We've got so much to talk about, Chantal, but authenticity is a rare commodity. Damn right. And then we've got, and this is so true, and it's all to do with how you feel, well-being, being upbeat, downbeat. Real music with a hugely uplifting vibe just lifts your soul. Absolutely. Wee Boogie. Was that Wee Boogie or does it? And I don't know what that means.
I think she means a small boogie. I don't think wee is a genre.
Small. I keep forgetting she's Scottish. If I do it in a Scottish accent, the whole thing makes sense. Right? A wee boogie always, and I don't shimmy often feel good.
At this stage.
Right, that makes sense. No, that was Northern Irish. Oh my God, I went to Belfast there. I went to Belfast because we're showing it the other night. The guy from Belfast. It was fantastic. Right. So, Tiber, you into K-pop?
I think I read something about it only in the last couple of weeks. I think on social media, so I think I know roughly what it is, but I may be well wrong.
Is it? I'm guessing here. This shows how much I care about modern music. Is it Korean?
It is Korean.
Oh, I'm going. All right, I've got the microwave oven and the fondue set. I'm going for the speedboat. Is it mostly boy bands?
It's boy bands and girl bands, but probably the majority boy bands.
BTS is K-pop.
BTS.
They had that hit with Coldplay, didn't they?
Exactly. So BTS is allegedly, seemingly,
was
the
it
biggest
called
band
By
in
My
the world.
Ex-Wife's Candle? Was it called? Was that the hit?
No, what's the song? My Universe.
It was. It's very interesting. And you were saying, have you got time to stay, Tiber, or you got to go?
Yeah. Go for it. Okay,
so Chantal, you were saying there was like 45,000 people are going to rock up to this event.
The concert's actually going to be over 2 days. Most of the tickets are sold. I think there are still some tickets left on the Sunday, but Saturday completely sold out. So that's 45,000 at least on Saturday, and I think we've sold half the tickets for the Sunday.
So are you, knowing you as I have for many years, I presume you're hosting this event. Let me make some noise. That'd be you.
No.
What you'd do, knowing you'd go, make some noise, Frankfurt. 45 people. Then would anybody else like an extra glass of wine? And that would be 45,000 people. Oh, if it's not too much trouble, Chantal, I wouldn't mind another glass before I go.
No, that would be the perfect job. No, I'm helping them put the thing on television and streaming. So I've just gone in to give them some advice about how to do that.
No,
Gangnam Style count as K-pop.
Oh, yes, I think it does. Really,
love that song.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
You
adore
do
that
like
song.
modern music, Russ. You're just being a
Of
little.
course, I
cynical.
like modern music. I just kind of stick with heavy metal. That's what I like.
No, everything Korean is very popular at the moment. So you've got Squid Game, which is
Squid Game.
recently out of Korea, and you've got besides K-pop, you've got so many other things that the Koreans are. The Masked Singer, for example, is a Korean television format. That's
Oh God! Now we know who to blame. Oh,
so it's quite a big thing.
interesting. There's a big one in July. Veronica's back, and she's still upset that she missed Tiber 2 weeks ago. She said, "Oh, it's the story of my life." Okay, but my son was into anime. So was one of my twins. I think he still is, and that stuff is madness.
It is.
No, that's Suggs, and they wear dark glasses and natty suits. Big event, Glasgow, July, I think, over 2 days. Right now you're here, right? I'm swapping. If you got time to stay, Tiber, then we're going to come back to, or if you need to go, let me know. Whatever you want to do.
I've got my daughter's just gone up, and she's sort of like not feeling too great at the
Oh
minute.
no, I'm so sorry.
No, it's not COVID or anything like that. There's just quite a lot of flu-y stuff going around at the minute, which is just annoying. But
if you have to dash, Tiber, I'll just say this, so I know I'll say it before you go. I am going to have a word with the powers that be at Radio Jackie and try and get Don't Go back on, because it's been on before. And if you've got new music out, and please send me your new music. I'm really excited to hear it.
On 14th of May, we're at Wembley Arena, which is just a one-off.
This is what I couldn't believe. The guys, listen to this. He's busking outside WH Smith in freaking Croydon. He's at Wembley. This is fantastic. That is inspiration in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Never give up on your dreams.
No, I hope so. And I think at the end of the day, it's almost like the power of the artist and the public, and that's really what the whole thing's about.
I want to go to that gig.
Yeah, we'll come up.
And look at this from New York State. I always say state because he's not in Manhattan. He's outside. Tiber, I'm looking forward to listening to your albums. There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
So we've broken you in North America, I'd like to think. Thanks to Men's Radio and The Daily Show, we've broken you. Listen, you go and look after you.
Thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. A real surprising, Tiber, a real surprising treat. I've really enjoyed
Love the name.
Bye-bye.
It's been really lovely to see you again. What a nice surprise when I came into the studio and see you again. All the best, Tiber.
Nice.
Thank you.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What a charming guy.
Yeah,
what a
good
charming guy. Right, now, Chantal.
Yes.
I started the show. First of all, I'm furious of what's going on at Tower Bridge, but put that to one side and I'll park it and try and calm myself down. And I was saying, and then we get on to everything that you're going to chat about. But and thank you. I know how you must be tired and you've been so busy, and I never take it for granted you're going to rock up on a Friday. But thank you. I really always appreciate it. Last night, I had lunch with a couple of friends, and they'd started to watch the Jimmy Savile thing with Lloyd. Lloyd was talking about. Big fan of yours, by the way, Lloyd Beanie.
Oh,
huge fan of yours. Were your ears ringing yesterday lunchtime? Who was Chantal?
They weren't, but they should have been.
What is Chantal said? Yeah, Lloyd, forget it. Move on. Now,
is this the
take a number, wait in line. That's what I say. Now, I watched the Jimmy Savile on Netflix.
I've seen it.
And I'll be honest with you, I watched both parts, and I cried at one point. I'll be absolutely. To my amazement, I found my eyes welling up. Me,
yeah.
I know what you think of me, and my eyes were welling up. And I tell you why. It was the poor woman. I'm not going to go into the details. Even I can't. I couldn't. It's so stomach churning. What happened to her in the church? I mean, even that is just goes against everything that you would hope. In the presbytery, is it called? Forgive me. The presbytery. Yeah. She's like the little kid who hands out the plate. Christ. And I was partly furious with anger at the inaction of the police. The fact that these girls all thought they were on their own, and other people have said, and I really get this, and this is what I'd love to ask you. Other people are saying, I have no interest in that. I don't want to watch that filth. He was a monster. Do you think you're a top television executive and have been for many, many years, that it's right, or is it us peeking behind a curtain? Ooh, look at that. Where do you think we are?
Well, I think it's absolutely fair enough to make a documentary like that, because by shining a light on it, hopefully other people in the future won't feel alone and they will realize that this sort of thing happens. And the best thing is to talk about it and to come forward to stop the perpetrator, if nothing else. So, I mean, I think it absolutely has a place in the television landscape. Whether you watch it or not is a completely different point. And actually, I'm interested that you watched it last night and I decided not to. I just thought, I don't want to fill my head with that stuff. I feel, and there's been a lot of controversy about it in the press in the last couple of days, a lot, particularly from America, where people are going, who is this monster that we've never heard of?
Yeah, because he's unknown over there. They wouldn't know who he was.
Unknown.
And we look like chumps.
Well, we look like complete chumps. And they're going, you know, he's a friend of Prince Charles. And then you've got Ghislaine, who's a friend of Prince Andrew. And like, what the heck is going on over there? So it's sort of very interesting to read those reviews from other, you know, through other people's eyes, and they're all going, but the guy was clearly a nutcase, monster, lunatic.
Yes,
should have been taken
he looked
down.
horrendous.
Cult of celebrity, isn't it? I mean,
The cult of celebrity.
The phrase, I mean, that phrase, cult of celebrity, really,
Yeah.
because I've heard it banded around, but when I watch things like that, it really hits home because it is cult-like in the sense of brainwashed following. And the other thing that really stood out for me was the phrase hiding in plain sight. So I, in a way, think it's good that these things are being made. In fact, I really believe that, because so we can say never again, never, ever again, and support the people who have been victims of this. It's just awful.
There were some fascinating takes on it over on on Twitter. The one that bended my mind to the point of breaking was, oh, he got away with it because you hate Meghan Markle.
Oh, okay.
And I saw a whole string of, you know, Meghan Markle's great. She's fabulous. I'm not going to get into Meghan. I don't want to give her any airtime. But I'm thinking, it's got nothing to freaking do with it. Why do you shoehorn this crap in?
No, I mean, that's just a total fabrication.
And there was loads of it, Chantas. There was loads
how could it be anything to do with it? It happened way before.
Oh, no, they made it. But you understand, that's social media. You can bend anything you want to your own agenda. Your agenda is that. And then other people were saying something very interesting. Well, of course, it's garbage. It's garbage. But there you go. That's life these days. And we have to sift through this detritus to get to the grains of truth that are left. How about this, Chantal? Which was a very interesting take, and you've just opened the door to it, was this. They said, do you not realize that Netflix putting this documentary out is part of the campaign to destabilize the monarchy and get rid of the royal family?
Okay. Totally incorrect.
Right.
I don't.
That makes sense.
What? No. But you see what? Because in the Netflix, if both parts, all right, the link. Now, please do not misunderstand me. I am not saying anything untoward. I'm a big fan of Prince Charles. I've had the honor of meeting him, being presented to him 5 times. He's an extraordinary fellow.
Wow.
Okay. And it was a very big deal for me. Everyone can laugh. I don't care. It meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. Right.
Yeah, it's great.
And he was far thinking. Let's not get into that. Okay. But the way that they kept asking him for advice, like he was some amazing mentor, that staggered me more than anything.
I know.
And none of this is myth. All the letters are there. They read out the letters.
That
the closeness between him and Thatcher. Oh,
what struck me, I mean, yes, it's awful what happened, but it's tainted, it's poisoned by all the things that happened. But the techniques he was using, understanding how people think, and then working to that, playing to the audience, if you like, being in rapport, you could call it that way. They are genuine skills which professional people use every day for good. There's nothing wrong with the skill of developing rapport and understanding how people tick. It's how you use it. It's like saying there's nothing wrong with a knife until you stab someone with it. I hope you know what I mean. Yeah. You know, but some of those skills, a lot of those skills he was using are genuine, teachable skills. It's just so
it was like he mesmerized.
Cult of celebrity, people couldn't see.
How did somebody? I mean, it's kind of like Hitler. How did somebody so ghastly mesmerize? And I use the word mesmerize. So many people.
Well, part of it is charisma. I mean, he did fill the room.
Totally.
You know, As you
Okay.
know, I worked with him several times, and you were always aware that he was there. You know, he was ebullient. He was loud. He made his presence felt.
And the error in people's thinking was he's famous and popular, therefore he must be good.
Yeah,
And
well, of course,
and that's the error in thinking. You know,
that's
they're not
a complete
always.
fallacy.
That's the fallacious thinking in it, isn't it? Of course.
Completely.
See, this is interesting coming in from Edinburgh. It's Veronica again. We need our laws to change as prehistoric paedophile rings are highlighted. Social media is a swamp with predators, and smartphones are the tool. Don't think I can watch it. He was an evil man. No, it is hard watching.
Yeah.
It is very. Now, conspiracies. Did it mention Jill Dando?
Oh, for goodness sake.
I'm not going to go there.
Right.
Kimmy,
Too many rabbit holes.
I know what you think. And forgive me, Kimmy. I'm a big fan, but I'm not. I just don't want to go down that particular rabbit.
Too many rabbit
hole,
holes today.
If you don't mind.
I don't even understand that reference.
By the way, I'm going to start with one TV recommendation. Then it's over to you.
Okay.
I watched it's a Polish. It's on Netflix again, but it's Polish. And it's in Polish. No, I don't speak a word of Polish. Can I have a pickle, please? And English subtitles. And it's called Krakow Monsters.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you like dark, I don't think it's for you.
Right.
I'll be honest. If you like dark, and when I say dark, it couldn't get much darker. Wow. I mean, the acting, some of it was went a bit biting the scenery. But the main character is both infuriating and brilliant at the same time. This very disturbed woman of 21. And it's about good and evil and what people do for good. It was extraordinary. And it was so atmospheric. If you like very dark, I mean, don't watch it if you get nervy. And I watched it and I thought, I've got to know what happens.
Is it kind of fun dark or nasty dark?
No, it's not fun. It's it's dark with the themes that it deals with, and it's graphic and it feels very gritty. It's brilliantly made. So it's Polish. It's on Netflix. You got to read the subtitles, obviously, unless you're Polish. And it's called The Krakow Monsters. Not for everyone, but if you lean towards really dark stuff, boy, have they got that covered.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I'll look out for it. I don't know it. I know Krakow.
You won't like it.
No? Okay.
It's not for you. You won't like it. I don't think so. It's too horrible for you.
Okay.
If I may say.
No, well, there is definitely some stuff that I will watch and some stuff that I won't watch. But I think last night I watched my, I think, forever final documentary, which is a good one, about the Maxwell family. And I thought, shall I watch this? Do I know this whole story? I think I do. You know, I met Bob Maxwell. I've met some of the Maxwell children. You know, I worked with Maxwell once on a TV fundraiser. So is there anything I need to know? But actually, the BBC have done a 3-part documentary, which is called The House of Maxwell, that goes right back to the beginning of Robert Maxwell's life, the great newspaper publisher. That was what he became mostly known for in the UK, who died in very mysterious circumstances in the 1990s.
Just a bit.
Yeah. And actually, the story is very well put together. There are lots of new revelations, lots of new interviews that I haven't seen before, some very good archives. So they've had a very good archivist working on it, getting fantastic pictures. Lots of pictures from Headington Hall, which was the very grand house that he used to have outside Oxford that was owned by Oxfordshire County Council and had to be handed back when the empire collapsed. There was also a piece, I think I've told you in the past, that when the Through the Keyhole team filmed at Headington Hall, they realized that the whole of the drawing room area was bugged. And then you see last night's documentary, one of the people who went to the sale, the auction of all the things as they were being sold off from Headington Hall, and bought a lamp and a lampshade. And it wasn't till he got it home that he took the lampshade off and realized that there were 4 microphones on it.
Good God.
Yeah. So, but lots of other weird revelations about the father-daughter relationship between Robert and Ghislaine, and that they used to mew at each other. I mean, this is sort of very odd. This has got overtones of George Galloway, but the way that they spoke to each other on the telephone, they would start with this mewing cat call to each other. I mean, really quite peculiar things. Anyway, if you want one definitive Maxwell documentary series, it's not all about Ghislaine. It's mostly about Bob Maxwell and his rise to power, and then his death, and then the two sons who are taken to court. But it is an extraordinary story of an extraordinary family.
Another man who used. Sorry, Neil, go on.
I just said it sounds very interesting.
Another man who used
sounds good. Thank you.
He used his charisma and bullying. Scary. It was the sort of person who would petrify me to meet, and I don't scare that easy. But that kind of personality trait, I can't react to it. I don't know what. Afterwards, I'm a genius. At the time, I'm an idiot. You know what it's like. You say, what? And you're sitting on the tube home, and go, why the hell didn't I say? Why did idiot? But too late now. Very, very scary. Used his charisma, and again, like the Serena Scott, was that her name? Selena Scott, beg your pardon. And she was looking at herself in the Savile thing, going in despair, thinking, how was I so stupid? Yeah. There's so many interviews with Maxwell. I bet if they went through the BBC and ITV archive, you go, really? Because the interviews were fawning over this guy.
I know.
Fawning over. Yeah, wow. Scary. Did you ever see, speaking of the Maxwell thing, the wonderful film where David Suchet played Robert Maxwell?
I don't think I did. Was it a film or was it a television drama?
Either or.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure.
It was a one-off.
Right.
And like a one piece. It wasn't like a series or anything. And he was just, it's David Suchet, the greatest. Yeah. And he was fantastic as Bob Maxwell. Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, quite facially, quite similar. And
but they obviously bulked him up and the accent. Yeah. And then you see, this is where it's so clever. Can I digress just for a second into mental health and the way people manipulate? Kimi Mashma says, yes, I knew his receptionist, Robert Maxwell's receptionist, who said he was a super boss and very generous.
Wow.
And then in the Savile documentary, as Neil will know, the person who was his assistant or whatever said she was in deep shock. I mean, you could see she wasn't lying. She was absolutely shattered. She couldn't believe this guy was her friend, was perfectly lovely, was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
It's incredible how people
think Selena Scott held that interview together very professionally, because Savile was constantly trying to distract her. She would bring him back, and she did it so good-humouredly. She was super professional, I think.
Yeah. Extraordinary. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we've digressed.
Next
how have you found time to watch anything when you've been in Frankfurt?
Well, they have televisions in Frankfurt,
Okay.
Hey?
I did.
And
who knew? Every day's a school day. Who knew?
Very good sausages. But that aside.
Did you see my comment?
I did.
Chantal posted a wonderful picture of her about to eat this enormous, obvious Frankfurt. It looked delicious. And I just said, calling Dr. Freud to reception, please. That's what I said.
Very nice.
Well, that leads me very, very, very well into my next recommendation.
Oh my goodness! Just before you do, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
This is 6 degrees. Look at this. Sue Sleet, who's up in Fife in Scotland, obviously. Bizarrely, I had a drink yesterday with her son, the lovely Dave Sleet of ANA. I got threatened by Maxwell when I put a parking ticket on his car. Didn't have a clue he was.
No.
So gave him the ticket. We love you, Sue Sleet from Bromley and Staples Corner and Fife. We love you.
Wow.
You're the best. Amazing. Isn't it?
That is a coincidence.
Isn't radio amazing? Isn't it? Extraordinary things you just dig up. Right. Sorry. I'm shutting
No,
up.
well, I was going to tell you about a drama that I've only just caught up with. It came out 2 years ago, so I feel as though I should have watched it at the time, but I had read the book, so I didn't get round to watching the TV series until actually this week. It's a BBC TV series, but made with an Austrian production company. And I think last week we said we'd only ever had one Austrian production mentioned on your show, which was something called Der Pass. But actually, this is called Vienna Blood, which is a very well written book by a guy
Vienna
called
Blood?
Yes.
I talked about it weeks ago with you. It's fantastic.
Well, I hadn't watched it until this week.
Oh,
in
it's
fact.
sensationally good.
Yeah. Well,
Brilliant.
it's very well portrayed. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's really
great.
authentic. Vienna, 1906. It's shot in Vienna, and it's shot at places like the Opera House, and so it is authentic because they've used the real places. And it's just to sort of add to the conversation that we had a few weeks ago, it's got the standard two people come together to solve a crime. One is a slightly grumpy, dry Austrian detective, and the other is a young doctor who has been studying under Sigmund Freud. Yep. And effectively they buddy up together, and one is always, the doctor is trying to understand the motivation, and this theory, this understanding about people being motivated to commit a crime has never really been thought of until that time. Because motivation was never discussed, it was never considered. And then it actually became a thing in criminology, which was, well, hang on, why are people doing this? So the two guy buddy system really works well with the slightly grumpy, dry, disbelieving cop and the young doctor with these wonderful thoughts about why people are driven to commit the crimes they do. Anyway, it's a good series.
My favorite thing that I've watched this year, without doubt. It was absolutely riveting.
Yeah, it's great.
The way it looked, the way it was directed, I loved the backstories of each of the main characters. They were so wonderfully fleshed out.
Yeah,
it was complicated. Oh, it was terrific. Just so satisfying.
It's on BBC iPlayer.
Right.
And there are two series. I think they're 90-minuters in each series.
Yes.
Super.
And
you both sound fantastic. I know what I'm watching next. Thank you.
It looks good.
Great.
It really does look good.
And the acting's off the hook. The acting's off the hook as well.
Very much
the acting is great.
Lead actors, very good. Not well-known actors, but very good.
Does that help, do you think? You're a producer. Does that help? Because you don't say, oh, look, it's Michael Caine being a butler, or look, it's Michael Caine being a gangster. You go, I have no idea who these people are. As far as I'm concerned, he's a detective and he's a young psychiatrist.
I don't know. I think you get something out of both, because you will go and see a movie because it's Michael Caine, and clearly you want Michael Caine's take on whichever role it is that he's been given. And sometimes you just want to get completely lost in the story, and actually a new actor can take you to a place and allow your own imagination to flourish a bit more. So I think it's horses for courses, really.
There we go. Kimmy Lashmar is saying, oh, we're struggling through Inventing Anna.
Oh, I'm quite enjoying that.
Not seen it. Don't know. Next up.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to have a quick chat about Inventing Anna, I struggled through it. I did get to the end. It is an extraordinary story. I thought it ended up being a bit like a pantomime. And it's about a young woman who turns out to be a Russian woman called Anna Delvey, who pretends to be a socialite, a very, very rich young Russian woman. And there have been lots of documentaries about her. But Inventing Anna was the drama that has just come out, an 8-part drama. But it's a bit like a pantomime. All the characters are slightly overblown. It was made by the same people who made Bridgerton, I think, and it sort of feels it's hyper realistic and really not my thing, but it's a fascinating.
What is that? Joking aside, it's a serious question. What does hyper realistic mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, all the colors are overblown. The way people speak is overblown. It's like a pantomime.
Oh, okay.
So
there's graphics that come up on the screen as well, rather than talking about social media. They show it. Go. On the screen.
Right. You see, I find that very distracting.
I think the girl is very good who plays it. She played one of the daughters of the main actress in Dirty John on Netflix.
Yes, and she was in Ozark. She's the young breakout star from Ozark, who plays the young woman who gets involved who sort of runs the casino. And
very
the
good actress. Super.
Yeah, she is a good actress, but she cannot hold an accent.
Oh.
Sorry to say, the accent is appalling. But other than that, it's it's fine. If you want something that's a bit over the top, then Inventing Anna is actually pretty well made. But ultimately, it wasn't as satisfying as the documentary about the young woman, because her life story is extraordinary.
I'm going to check out the documentary because that sounds fascinating too.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch that than the, pretend. Let's pretend stuff. Yeah. By the way, I really can't recommend. Chantal's so right. Vienna Blood. Wow, just great. Yeah. Really absorbing. Anyway, sorry. I was just thinking about it. How much I enjoyed it.
Oh. So while I was away, I rattled through some stuff on Netflix that I hadn't seen. A brand new drama series called Pieces of Her. It's an 8-parter. It's with the lovely Australian actress Toni Collette, who I really
we love her. She's great.
Yep, love her. Very good. The basic story is really good. She is a mum. She's rather anonymous. She has a 30-year-old daughter who's just returned home. They live in a rather anonymous sort of old people's community in a sort of Nowheresville, USA. And then they're basically having lunch in a cafe. Somebody comes in and shoots somebody else. And she, the Toni Collette character, kills this man stone dead in a nanosecond, and her face flashes all around the world, and suddenly she becomes the most recognizable person. And then, of course, that is the problem for her, because there is a whole backstory about the fact that she is in witness protection. And so it then begins to unravel. So that's the first 5 minutes of the series, and then it unravels from there. Some people have loved it. Some people have thought it was a bit nah. I stuck with it, and I thought it was very well acted. I think she's extremely good, Toni Collette. It's there's quite a lot of backstory and odd bits of sort of weird families and somebody standing for the presidency, and it's got all the obvious tropes, but they all work together.
What's it called? Well. I missed that. What's it called?
Pieces of Her, which is a very odd title. It doesn't mean anything, and even when you've watched it, you don't really understand what the title means and why it has anything to do.
I was reading this morning that everybody involved hated the title of the film Dirty Dancing. They didn't want it to be called. They loathed it. And Patrick Swayze particularly railed against it. He thought it was a terrible title.
Okay.
Go figure.
Right.
And he didn't want to say get this. Isn't it funny how history changes things? He hated the line, nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. He said it was far too cheesy, and he actually argued with the director, said, well, no one's going to say that. And of course, it became the most iconic line. I've never seen the film, by the way. Never seen the film. There we are. You haven't probably watched as many documentaries on Kid Rock as I have. So it all evens out in the end. It's all there.
I like Kid Rock.
I'm a huge Kid Rock fan. Massive Kid Rock fan. Very interesting.
All summer long. What a tune.
Interesting guy. I love people who, like our first guest, have your finger on the pulse. You see which way the wind's blowing, and you have natural empathy. You can't even get airplay sometimes because it's all X-rated and R-rated, and the people go, that's our guy.
Yeah.
And you can't make that up. That's our guy.
That's the X factor. That's the true X factor.
It is the true X factor, which is why they've all monumentally, come and gone like a shooting star, because they haven't got it, and they weren't prepared for it, and they never worked hard to get there. Kid Rock and all the rest of them worked hard to get there. That's the difference. That's the difference between the real thing and the fake thing. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Oh my goodness, we're nearly out of we're nearly out of time. I can't believe that.
Where does that time go?
I don't know. Quick,
Chantal, it's been lovely to see you again.
No, and you. Very nice to catch up.
We must stop meeting like this.
I'm getting my timer thing back. No, we're okay. We've got a minute. Anything very, very quick?
A minute. In that case, we've got a minute. Try Big Sky on Disney Plus. It's another American drama by David E. Kelly, who wrote Goliath. He wrote L.A. Law. He wrote Ally feel.
God. So nothing
It's
big
quite
then.
good. It's quite gritty, you know. It's just I don't like violence particularly. It's just on the edge of my threshold, but it's pretty good. It's you know, it's a good old yarn. I think there are 15 parts. I've only got through the first 5. I'm hoping it carries on being good, but it's pretty good at the moment. It's called Big Sky on Disney Plus.
And we'll end with one recommendation from Marcus Hayes. Hi, Marcus. I've been binge watching The Last Kingdom on Netflix, a drama covering the era of the Vikings and Alfred the Great. In case you wonder why I read this out, because on Deluxe Radio, they're listening. They can't see it. Chantal, always an absolute joy. Welcome back from Frankfurt.
Thank you.
And
good seeing you.
Neil Long, thank you so much. I may hopefully be seeing you next week if you are around. And Chantal,
You just tell me the day and I shall show up like a bad penny.
Thank you. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Happy weekend, everyone.
If such a thing is possible in these crazy times. Stay safe, everyone. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.